from the New York Post. This one,
Oh boy,
it's
here we go.
wild.
Oh yeah. I've been waiting on
Prisoner.
that.
Okay, so CNN filmed themselves freeing a prisoner. Now, they say the guards did the freeing, but they were there providing food and water to this man. It is now being reported the prisoner they helped free was actually a notorious Assad regime torturer.
Can't make it up.
I did not have CNN accidentally commits treason on my 2024 bingo card.
They've been committing treason for 10 years.
They interviewed Osama bin Laden.
No, hold on. Again, I hate to be so pedantic, but insulting CNN and say that they betray this country with their lies is one thing. This is CNN's news crew literally providing aid and comfort to an Assad regime torturer, as reportedly, and that is an enemy of the United States. The U.S. is aligned with the Free Syrian Army, and they are in opposition to Assad. We have criticized him and considered him an enemy, and they're providing aid to one of his Air Force personnel. And, okay, look, let's be serious. They're not committing treason because they didn't know what they were doing. Okay, that's just accidentally aiding this guy. But it is hilarious because not one person at CNN, not Clarissa Ward, the reporter, her crew, or anyone at CNN stopped to be like, hey, I think this guy's lying.
A little bit of vetting here.
His fingernails are totally clean cut. He has a well-trimmed beard. His skin is totally hydrated. He's standing up and walking just fine. He's claiming to have not seen light in 3 months, but he's looking up at the sky with no problem. Maybe this is a guy who's trying to escape from rebels by pretending to be somebody else, and they got him out.
I think they knew, dude. Have you guys all seen the video when they say turn off the camera for the shooting part?
To shoot the lock off the door?
I was like, it's
fake.
This is
because
so
you can't do that.
I mean, that stuff is all staged. All those.
You can see there's a split second of what's her name, Ward, just off to the side of the camera when they're getting the blanket off the guy. She's acting. It looks so fake.
And she's yelling in English at him.
Come on.
Is anyone there? Hello? It's like, dude, you're in Syria.
Come on.
And then the guy stands up and he's like, I have not eaten or had anything to drink in 5 days. It's like, bro, that's not true.
He's reading lines off his palm.
My favorite line, of course, was, where's the poop?
I remember that.
His prison cell had no poop anywhere. He's been left in there for 5 days. What is he doing? Holding it in? No.
Good point.
It's not why someone commented saying, where's the poop? And I'm like, that's a good question. So everybody was saying it's clearly fake. There were a few funny posts where like, what are the chances this guy's like Al-Qaeda and he's trying to escape, so he's masquerading, he's pretending to be a civilian, and CNN just helped him escape? Well, as it turns out.
Well, I lived in the Middle East, and over there, everything is so tribal that you can hear a person's last name and know exactly what tribe they're from. You can see what they look like. There's an entire tribe of like red-bearded, ginger Syrians, and so it's like, if they had have just maybe talked to somebody who's on the ground over there, an actual Arab, then maybe they would have learned the truth. But I guess vetting isn't a thing that CNN does.
It immediately made me think of Brian Williams saying his helicopter was shot down. Remember that story?
Yeah. Unreal.
Someone super chatted saying that the guy may already be dead.
Oh, the guy that was freed?
Yeah, I don't know if that's true or not. It's just a super chat, but
his blood's on CNN's hands.
You know, he was
here's
a
what I
liability to
think.
someone if he is.
I think CNN are really, really, they're dumb people. But I just got to say, like, how does there's no QA at CNN? I mean, come on, Richie, you've made videos before.
Well, I had to fight to correct the record. CNN after Kenosha said McGinniss supported the conservative claim that Rittenhouse acted in self-defense. After my appearance on Tucker Carlson, I was like, I literally stated objective observations of why Kyle said he was there, and you're claiming that I'm a witness in the impending trial, and you can have me on to correct the record or prepare for court, and they did have me on to correct the record, but I wouldn't even have been able to go on CNN if they hadn't have screwed up so badly.
Imagine what happened. CNN films this scenario that is so obviously fake. A child would be like, huh? They take the edit, hand it off to a producer or an editor, who then watches and goes, whoa.
Pulitzer. Yeah, here we go.
Pulitzer.
Yeah.
And the boss and everybody there were like, wow. And even Jake Tapper was like, look at that. Wow. And I'm like, bro, you expect me to believe that all of you are that stupid?
There are no good guys over there, right? So the guy that's in charge now is a former member of Al-Qaeda, likely killed Americans. Assad has done horrible things to his own people. There are no good guys. So to go over there and behave like this, like just because they're in Assad's jail, they're automatically like someone that we should support or we should be happy that we freed. We shouldn't. They should not have been there helping to get people and in any kind of capacity capacity helping to get people out. And as soon as the dude was like, oh, I'm going to shoot the lock off, I don't care what happened to the reality of it or not, they should have been like, see ya, we're out of here. Because there's no way of knowing who that guy was, at least when you're on the ground there, there's no way of knowing who the guy was. And because of the context, because of where they are and the things that have been happening for the past 15 years in Syria, he's likely a horrible, horrible monster, whether he's on Assad's side or the rebel side.
I would just say to everybody out there, if you're in a small hallway that is 4 feet by 5 feet, and someone with a rifle says they're going to shoot the lock off, please exit the building. And if it's happening in America, like, you might want to call for help or beg them not to do that. That's what they do in movies. That's not a real thing. We all saw the story of the journalist getting shot because those Democrats were firing rifles at steel plates from 15 feet away, and the bullet fragmented, fired back, and hit the guy in the arm. He started bleeding. What do you think's going to happen if you're in a tight hallway and you fire this rifle at a lock on a steel door?
Look, man, I have a picture on my, I think it's on my Instagram page, but I definitely put it up on X. I had a nice big gash on the bridge of my nose because I was shooting my rifle on my property, and I was shooting at steel, and I was a little too close. I had my safety glasses on, but I took a piece of spall and it cut me right on the bridge of my nose, and it was bleeding like mad. You don't shoot metal when you're like standing right there. You just don't do it.
I don't think they shot anything though.
I mean,
like I get it, but I don't think that, because we don't hear it, right? It just fades to black, and then all of a sudden they're opening the door. I don't think. I mean, you're totally right, but this whole thing is staged, and that says a lot about how they feel about the audience.
You think that CNN from the get-go was in on orchestrating and playing it out?
I do.
It's hard to reason otherwise, because what the rebels bring in Clarissa Ward and say, we're doing all of these things, and she's just like, you got it,
and they think they can get away with it.
Well, I mean, Richie, you've been on the ground a lot of various news stories. Do you think CNN was in on the thing the whole time?
I think that CNN probably staged all of the things that we're talking about and played it up, but were too dumb to vet the guy. And
you think they did stage it?
I think that they staged, they like basically that they were doing like a dog and pony show, and one of the guys on the ground was like, "Oh yeah, come free this guy," and he was like an insider,
and they were like, "We'll set it up like you're freeing him," and they're like, "Yeah, let's do it."
I worked at Syrian Support Group in 2012, right after I graduated college. And it was the only lobbying group licensed by the Treasury to operate on behalf of the Syrian opposition. And I studied Arabic in college 5 days a week for an hour a day. I studied Middle Eastern history. And the moment that I decided I didn't want to do anything with my Arabic because I didn't agree with anything the government was doing over there was when I saw basically the generals who were defecting for a secular government were not viewed as powerful a force to fight against Bashar al-Assad. So we were funding through proxies like Saudi Arabia, these radical Islamist rebels like Jabhat al-Nusra, which became effectively ISIS a couple years down the road. And I realized that whether it's the Israelis or the Americans or the Saudis, they would rather have the bad guy that they know, a bunch of idiots running around with AK-47s, which give them an excuse to project their power into that power vacuum, rather than having an actually... I mean, does Turkey want a strong secular Sunni government? No, because it's a Sunni majority in Syria. Does Saudi Arabia want that? No. So do we want that? No. So they would rather have a power vacuum, where now the Israelis are already moving into the Golan Heights, and it's an opportunity for a power grab.
Yep.
Well, I think that the situation in Syria, whoever is like the rebels that are in charge, I think it's most likely that it's going to be a recreation of ISIS, of the Islamic State. You know, I wouldn't be surprised if they declare themselves the home of the caliphate in the next 5 years.
Yeah, the timing is convenient too. I mean, right at the end of the Biden administration, you have to ask yourself who were the people who really like tipped the scale to make sure that Assad goes before Trump takes power.
And I mean, I don't have a preference, honestly, of Assad over the rebel groups. I don't know that one is better or worse. I mean, maybe Assad is better because Assad was at least staying in his borders. He wasn't to my knowledge, he wasn't attacking Turkey. He wasn't attacking Israel or Lebanon. He wasn't attacking Jordan. So maybe he is better. If it is the like recreation of ISIS, I wouldn't be surprised to see them move west into parts of Iraq. I wouldn't be surprised to see the U.S. have to send in covert covert operators to try to defend U.S. bases that are still in Iraq because they're, to try and limit their ability to by they I mean limit the ISIS's ability to expand and stuff. It wouldn't surprise me at all. So I don't think that helping Assad would have been a good idea, but I don't think
it's a mess.
And the
borders,
there's no good guy. That's what I said.
Here's what I realized in studying the region and living over there is these borders were specifically drawn by the colonial powers not to have a national country with a collective identity, but to specifically divide up all the different sectarian groups and make sure that you split the Kurds in half. You give Saddam Hussein, who's Sunni, 30% of the population in Iraq, the power because he's a minority group, so he's going to say, "Sure, yeah, Brits, yeah, I'll work with you guys if you give me the power."
Saddam wasn't in charge when they made the.
Well, not at that time, but it was the same principle that was applied. And Assad is a Ba'athist, just like Saddam, quote unquote secular. But with that being said, everything is tribal over there, and so it was all the Sunnis who get all the good government jobs. And this country was literally built not to function without a colonial power running it. And my question is like, why is America inheriting all the sins of the British and French colonial empires? Like, why is this even our problem? So I just started working in American media because I was like, this ain't getting fixed. Not anytime this millennium.
You think the Middle East is going to escalate in terms of war, crisis, World War III, perhaps?
I think that chaos under Trump's watch will benefit, the people who just got voted out. So if you look at our unelected bureaucracy who's running our intelligence agencies, I would point to yes.
Perhaps that's why they're selling off the border wall.
Yeah.
That's probably why, unfortunately.
It's just like shutting down the country for COVID and then, blaming it all on Trump or like the job loss, right?
Yeah, because he's a racist for talking about it coming from China.
All the jobs.
Yeah.
I think that was a happy side effect because it was like the whole world got shut down. It wasn't just the U.S. Like countries all over most.
Yeah, but we're supposed to be free.
Yeah, oh no, yeah. I'm not trying to make an argument that it was the right thing to do. Don't misunderstand me. I'm just saying that it wasn't just the U.S. that did it because of. I don't want to think of it or I don't want to articulate it as just a U.S. context because it was the whole world. It wasn't just about Trump and the Democrats trying to shut down the country.
I feel like that. My opinion is it was about Trump and that the world.
Well, it also points
Trump.
to.
I legit
really
believe that.
I think that's a little more than
Fauci and China and all these other places did conspire to shut down the world to get rid of the outsider politician.
Well, I don't believe that.
Well, I don't think so.
I certainly do.
But you see, I will tell you why you're wrong, because the better conspiracy theory was that they were intending on the pandemic well before Donald Trump was even in office.
Yeah.
So the conspiracy theory for a while was that Hillary was going to win in her second term. There was going to be a crisis. I don't believe that either. I think what likely happened is that Fauci was performing illegal gain-of-function research. It had been banned, and he was doing it through a third party, and that's why he lied about it. There was a crisis and a disaster, but that's just me.
It wasn't gain-of-function. It was just a thing where you splice it and you kind of make it worse.
That was
gain-of-function.
Really amazing how Rand Paul says, Dr. Fauci, were you performing or funding gain-of-function research in the Wuhan Institute of Virology? We were not doing gain-of-function research. We were just taking the viruses and making them gain functions.
We were just cutting bats in half and making the terrible viruses. That's all we were doing.
Thanks for checking out this clip from Timcast IRL. Make sure to watch the show live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Subscribe to this channel, and we will see you all there.